You're not single because life is unfair. You're not single because your time hasn't come yet. And you're definitely not single because something is wrong with you. You're single because there is a gap between the level of relationship you want and the level of person you currently are. Most people don't admit this because their ego gets in the way. They think wanting something is the same as being ready for it. It's not. You want a loyal partner, but you're not loyal to your own habits. You want someone consistent, but you can't even stay consistent with your goals for 30 days. You want someone emotionally stable, but you get triggered by small things and shut down instead of communicating. You want a partner who knows their worth, but you're still negotiating with insecurity. You want maturity without becoming mature. You want stability without building it. You want a love story you haven't prepared to carry. And here's the part people avoid. If God gave you the relationship you think you're ready for, you would sabotage it. Not because you're a bad person, but because you haven't built the internal strength required to sustain what you're asking for. A skyscraper-level relationship needs a skyscraper-level foundation. You're trying to build that type of structure on the emotional equivalent of weak soil. God isn't punishing you by keeping you single. He's preventing you from destroying something good before you're strong enough to hold it. Being single is not a delay. It's a construction zone. It's where your flaws, patterns, fears, and emotional gaps get exposed. Not to shame you, but to build you. You don't prepare for a deep relationship inside a relationship. You prepare for it in solitude. You prepare when no one is watching. You prepare when you're forced to confront your own weaknesses without blaming someone else for them. The truth is harsh but necessary. You're single because the version of you right now cannot carry the weight of the love you're asking for. And until that changes, nothing else will. You think you're ready, but readiness is not a feeling, it's capacity. And capacity is built, not claimed. If you're still carrying emotional baggage from a past relationship, that alone is enough reason for God to keep you single. Imagine giving that pain to a new partner and calling it love. That's not love. That's a burden. And God won't let you hand your unhealed wounds to someone who doesn't deserve them. There are habits you still haven't broken, patterns you still repeat, fears you still obey. You want a healthy partner, but you haven't confronted your unhealthy tendencies. You want someone patient, but you're easily irritated. You want someone who communicates, but you shut down the second a conversation becomes uncomfortable. You want a partner who understands you, but you haven't even taken the time to understand yourself. And here's the real issue. You're praying for a high-quality partner. But high-quality people have standards. They don't choose someone who's still controlled by insecurity, still shaped by trauma, or still running from responsibility. God isn't withholding love from you. He's protecting both you and the person you're meant to be with. He's not going to let you walk into a relationship that your old self will ruin. There's also timing. Maybe God is building your career, first because your future marriage will need financial stability. Maybe He's developing your emotional maturity because your partner will require someone steady. Maybe He's creating distance from you in certain environments because the partner you're meant for lives a completely different kind of life. You're being reshaped, redirected, restructured. You're in a season of becoming, not a season of lacking. And sometimes you're single because you still choose people beneath your potential. You're attracted to chaos, not peace. You're pulled toward people who validate your wounds, not your growth. If God gave you a healthy partner today, you might overlook them because you're still addicted to the type of love that hurts you. That's why the waiting is necessary. So your taste, standards, and self-worth can finally rise. You're not being kept single. You're being upgraded. Let's be brutally honest. There are things God knows about your future relationship that you don't. You see the desire. God sees the consequences. You see the loneliness. God sees the risks. You see the timeline. God sees the blueprint. He's not operating on your impatience. He's operating on your long-term stability. You want a partner, but relationships magnify everything, the good and the ugly. If you don't fix the ugly now, it will explode later. Your insecurities, your trust issues, your jealousy, your inconsistency, all of it gets exposed the moment someone loves you deeply. God is giving you space to fix these things privately, so you don't bleed on someone who was sent to heal with you, not for you. There's also spiritual alignment. You think you're ready for a partner, but your purpose might still be under construction. The person meant for you isn't random. They're tied to your future, your calling, your growth. If God introduced them now, you might not even recognize their value. Worse, you might try to drag them into a life you're not meant to stay in. God isn't going to let you meet the right person at the wrong level. And here's the final truth: being single is not a curse. It's a filter. It removes the wrong people, exposes your weaknesses, builds your strength, sharpens your identity, raises your standards, and protects your future. Most people rush into relationships and end up paying for their impatience with years of regret. You're being protected from that. Your solitude is not empty, it's strategic. When you finally meet the right person, you won't be guessing. You won't be doubting your worth. You won't be carrying old pain. You won't be settling. You'll recognize them not because they complete you, but because they'll align with the complete version of you that God has been building in this season. You're not single because God is silent. You're single because He's preparing you for a relationship that won't break under pressure. A relationship that matches your future, not your past. When the preparation ends, the waiting ends. Until then, grow, upgrade, and become the person who can handle the love you've been praying for.